I thought I was marrying the love of my life. Until he forgot to hang up the phone. What I heard next shattered my world just days before our wedding. Would you still walk down the aisle if your fiancé's family secretly hated you? Please do well to click on the subscribe button if you love intense family drama. Hi. My name is Mary. And I was supposed to get married next Saturday. Jake, my fiancé, is the kind of guy most girls dream about. Kind, charming, always holding the door, texting good morning and good night, even showing up with flowers just because. He made me feel safe. Think I mattered. At least that's what I thought, until one phone call changed everything. It was Thursday night. Just 3 days before our rehearsal dinner. I had just gotten home from a long day of final wedding errands, cake tasting, dress fitting, checking on decorations, and my feet were killing me. I collapsed onto my couch, phone in hand, smiling as I saw Jake's name light up my screen. Hey babe, I answered, tired but happy. Hey, just wanted to say goodnight, he said softly. You hanging in there? Barely. But it's all coming together. I can't believe it's almost here. I know, he chuckled. We're really doing this, huh? I could feel my heart swell. Yeah. We are. We exchanged a few more sweet words, said our I love yous, and he promised to see me tomorrow. I clicked the button to end the call, or so I thought. I tossed the phone on the couch next to me and closed my eyes, letting out a deep sigh. But then, I heard something. Laughter. From my phone. I picked it up slowly. The call hadn't ended. My heart skipped. I held the phone to my ear, thinking maybe Jake had but dialed someone else or switched to speaker. But then I heard his voice. Clear as day. She's so excited it's almost pathetic. What? I froze. Honestly, said a woman's voice, his mother. She's lucky we even gave her the time of day. We all know she's marrying up. My chest tightened. Well, this had to be a mistake. Then his dad joined in, chuckling. We'll get her in line after the wedding. She seems sweet now, but let's be honest. Girls like that need to be managed. Managed? I felt my stomach twist. And Jake, he just laughed along. Laughed. He didn't defend me. He didn't stop them. He didn't say a single kind word. Just laughed. My ears burned. My hands trembled. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. His mother kept going. We'll sign whatever we have to for now. Once she's legally in, we'll handle the rest. Just like we did with your cousin's wife, his dad added. Control the money. Control the girl. I snapped the phone off. Tears blurred my vision. My heart felt like it had cracked down the middle. These were the people I was going to call family? The people I was about to share my life with? Was I just a joke to them? I sat there in the silence of my living room, staring into the darkness, feeling like the whole world had shifted. How could Jake let them say that about me? He knows where I come from. He knows I was raised by a single mom who worked 3 jobs. He knows I paid for college on scholarships and worked night shifts. He told me he admired me for it. Was it all a lie? I thought we were building something real. But no. I didn't even know who I was marrying. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying their words over and over. Charity case. Marrying up. Manage her. Control the girl. It wasn't just mean, it was planned. Like I was some puzzle piece they were going to fit into their perfect picture. But I'm not a puzzle piece. I'm a person. I needed answers. I needed truth. But most of all, I needed to stay calm. I couldn't let Jake know what I heard. Not yet. Because something in me knew. This went deeper. This wasn't just a few rude comments. This was a trap. I want to ask you something honestly. What would you do if you overheard your fiancé's family talking about you like that? Would you confront him right away? Or wait and see how deep it goes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I need advice right now more than ever. If you've ever tried to smile while your heart is breaking, you'll understand what I went through the next morning. I didn't tell Jake what I heard. Not yet. After staying up all night, crying, staring at my ceiling and whispering prayers into my pillow, I made a decision. I needed to see for myself. I had to find out the truth with my own eyes, not just my ears. So I got dressed, brushed my hair and drove over to Jake's parents' house. They were hosting a small brunch for the bridal party. Just a casual welcome before the big weekend. I walked in with a fake smile so wide it almost hurt. "Mary," Jake's mom said, her voice dripping with sweetness. "Oh, you look so pretty today." I smiled back. "Thank you. It's so nice to see you again." But inside I was screaming. She pulled me into a hug that felt colder than the iced tea on the table. I looked over her shoulder and saw Jake laughing with his dad like nothing had happened. Like he hadn't laughed at me last night. Like he hadn't sat there in silence while his parents called me a burden. Was he pretending? Or had he meant every word? I sat at the table next to Jake, his hand gently resting on my knee under the table. He leaned in and kissed my cheek. "You okay?" he whispered. "You look tired." I almost laughed. Tired? I was exhausted. From pretending. From doubting. From hurting. "Just wetting nerves," I whispered back. He smiled, completely unaware. His mom stood and raised a glass. "To Mary and Jake. The perfect couple." I always knew Jake would find someone who fit our family so well. I sipped my drink and kept smiling. But my hand was shaking under the table. She continued, "Of course it took a little adjustment. Different backgrounds and all. There was the jab hidden in fake kindness. Jake's always been more polished. But Mary, you've really come around. You're trying so hard." Everyone laughed. Except me. I blinked slowly. "You're trying so hard." Like I was a student. Like I was being trained. I glanced around. Did anyone else notice how weird that sounded? Nope. Just me. I excused myself to the bathroom. As soon as I closed the door, I leaned against the sink, my breath shaky. My eyes locked on the mirror. And for a second, I didn't recognize myself. Who was this girl? Smiling at people who insulted her? Pretending she was okay? I couldn't keep doing this. But I needed proof. Something real. Something more than just what I heard. Something I could hold on to in case Jake said, "You imagined it." So I dried my hands, took a deep breath, and walked down the hall. But I took a wrong turn. At least, that's what they thought. I ended up near the study. The door was slightly open. And inside, Jake's mom and her sister were whispering. "She'll say, 'I do,'" the sister said. "She's desperate." Jake's mom laughed. "And once she does, we'll get her to sign the revised prenup. She's so trusting, it'll be easy." "Prenup? What prenup?" Jake had said there wasn't one. That's when I saw it, peeking out of a nearby trash can. A torn photo. It was one of the engagement pictures we'd sent out to family. Jake and I, smiling in the sunlight. Ripped down the middle. My half was crumpled. Thrown away. Like I didn't belong in the picture. My heart dropped into my stomach. I quickly snapped a photo of it on my phone, then backed away silently before anyone saw me. I walked back to the brunch like nothing happened, and for the rest of that hour I smiled. I laughed. I nodded when they talked about flower arrangements and seating charts. But inside, I was screaming louder than ever. Jake looked at me as we left, squeezing my hand. "You were amazing today," he said. "They loved having you here." I just nodded. Because I didn't know what else to do. I was trapped in a story I hadn't written. And the wedding was only 2 days away. You know how people say, "Follow your gut"? I used to ignore that voice. But not anymore. After that brunch with Jake's parents. After hearing them whisper about a prenup and seeing my face ripped out of our engagement photo, I knew something was really wrong. By the way, if you don't know what a prenup is, let me explain it like this. A prenup, short for prenuptial agreement, is a legal paper couples sign before they get married. It says who owns what, who gets what if they ever break up, and sometimes, it can even control how money is spent in the marriage. Now that's not always a bad thing. Some couples use it to protect their stuff. But this felt like a trap. Jake had told me there was no prenup. He even laughed when I asked about it once, saying, "That's for rich celebrities, not us." So why were his parents planning to trick me into signing one? And worse, why was he going along with it? I didn't have all the answers yet. But I had a plan. Step 1. Called my best friend Lexi. Lexi and I have been best friends since middle school. She's the kind of person who tells it like it is. Loud, funny, fierce. If I'm the quiet storm, she's the thunderclap. When I told her what I overheard, She didn't even wait for me to finish. Girl, we're getting receipts. What do you mean? I asked. I mean we're getting evidence, she said. You don't accuse a man of lying and trapping you in a prenup without something solid. We're gonna catch them in the act. I hesitated. Is that legal? She rolled her eyes. You're in your own house. Put your phone on record next time they visit. Or when Jake's on the phone. Just don't say a word. Act normal. It felt risky, but it felt right. The next day, Jake came over to help me pick out music for the wedding reception. He brought takeout, kissed my forehead, and acted like everything was perfect. So I hit record on my phone and placed it face down on the table between us. Halfway through dinner, his phone rang. Hey Mom, he answered casually, putting her on speaker. Yeah, I'm with Mary right now. I leaned back, acting like I wasn't listening. Did you bring the papers? She asked. Papers? Not yet, Jake replied. I don't think she's ready. She's kind of sensitive. Sensitive? She'll sign, his dad said in the background. Do it tomorrow. Just say it's part of the venue's policy. She won't question it. I sat there, frozen, chopsticks in midair. Jake was quiet for a second, then he said something that hit me like a slap in the face. I've got this. She trusts me. She trusts me. I felt the walls around my heart start to crumble. Because he was right. I did trust him. He'll know. After the call ended, he looked up at me and smiled like nothing happened. What were we thinking for our first dance? You still like that Ed Sheeran song? I nodded slowly. But inside I was screaming again. I waited until he left before I hit stop on the recording. Then I played it back. Every word, every lie. Jake was in on it. All of it. My heart was broken. But my eyes were finally wide open. They were planning to trap me. And Jake, the man I was supposed to marry, was leading the charge. What would you do if you caught your fiancé lying about something so serious? Would you confront them? Cancel the wedding? Or keep pretending until you had more? Tell me what you'd do in the comments. I didn't tell Jake I overheard the phone call. Not yet. I needed to look him in the eye first. I needed to know, was he going to lie? Or would he come clean? When he walked into my apartment that night, I swear he looked like everything was fine. He even kissed me on the cheek like nothing had happened. How's my bride? He asked, tossing his keys on the table. Bride. The word made my stomach twist. Jake, I said quietly, can we talk? He smiled and dropped onto the couch. Sure. What's up? I stayed standing. I got a call earlier. From the venue. They said I needed to sign a document you already signed. He blinked, but his smile didn't fade. Oh yeah, that's just venue insurance stuff. Standard stuff. Why didn't you mention it before? He shrugged. It's boring legal stuff, Mary. I didn't want to stress you out. I stared at him. Jake, is it a prenup? His smile dropped. For just a second. Then he forced it back. No, of course not. It's just some forms the planner sent over. You know how venues are, they want to cover themselves. You're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. There was gaslighting. He looked me dead in the eyes and lied. But I already knew the truth. I sat across from him slowly. Can I see it? What? The document. If it's just boring venue stuff, I'd like to read it. His fingers tapped his knee. I don't have it right now. I think my dad has the copy. How convenient. He chuckled nervously. Mary, seriously. You're getting way too worked up. We're getting married in 4 days. Don't let little things mess with your head. Little things. My trust was a little thing? I was boiling inside. But I said nothing. Just smiled tightly and excused myself to the kitchen. That's when I saw it. Jake's dad's phone. Lying on the table by the window. He must have dropped it off when he came by earlier for wine. I shouldn't have. But I did. I picked it up. No passcode. My hands shook as I opened the messages. Frilled. And then I saw it. A message from his mother. Make sure she signs. Don't let her read the fine print. And one from Jake himself sent to his father. Just get her to sign it. Once she's in, it's done. Once she's in, it's done. I nearly dropped the phone. He wasn't just lying. He was planning this. All of them were. I walked back into the living room. Jake, I said calmly. Can you go get that document for me? I really do want to read it. He looked up from the TV confused. I told you it's nothing. I saw the texts. His body froze. What texts? From your dad's phone. Silence. I heard the phone call with your mom. But seeing it in writing. My voice trembled. That was the final nail. His mouth opened but nothing came out. You planned to trick me. You were going to slip that prenup in like it was nothing. He stood up. Mary, wait, let me explain. I trusted you. I love you. No, you love control. And so does your family. He ran his hand through his hair. My parents, they said they'd cut me off if I didn't get it signed. And that matters more than your honesty? He looked down. I didn't want to lose you. Then you shouldn't have lied. The room was spinning. My heart thudded like a drum. I want to see it, I said again firmly this time. The prenup. Right now. He hesitated, then walked to his bag and pulled out a folder. He handed it to me without a word. I opened it slowly, scanning the pages. And what I saw made my blood run cold. If I signed it, I would have no claim to any shared property. If we divorced, I'd walk away with nothing. Any children we had would be under his legal control. I'd even have to leave our home, the one we picked together, within 30 days. Tears welled up. You weren't protecting me, Jake, I whispered. You were protecting yourself from me. He tried to reach for my hand. I pulled away. This was never love, I said. This was a contract. And I never agreed to those terms. After reading the prenup, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just made a decision. They wanted to play games? Fine. I would learn the rules and beat them at their own. So while Jake and his parents smiled and kept pretending, I made a few moves of my own. Quietly. Fartly. I called Aunt Denise, my late mother's best friend and the sharpest family lawyer I knew. She had once helped my mom fight off some greedy cousins who tried to take our store when Dad passed. When I told her everything, she didn't say, I told you so. She just said, let's fix this. She met me the next day in a little cafe 2 towns over. No one would recognize us there. We spent 3 hours going through the prenup line by line. Then she rewrote it. This time, if I signed, the terms would be fair. Shared assets, shared custody, protection for my business, and total control over my family's legacy. My father's store, staying in my hands. And this time I'd have witnesses. Back at home I started dropping clues. Subtle ones. I let my bridesmaids know just in case. I might need backup at the wedding, I said with a half smile. Keep your phones ready. They laughed. Thought I was being dramatic. But Lexi didn't. She pulled me aside. You're planning something, aren't you? She whispered. I'm preparing, I replied. There's a difference. 2 days before the wedding, my little brother Noah came home looking pale. He's 15. Smart. Quiet. Loves video games and orange soda. But that day he looked shaken. Mary, he said, I heard something. He had gone to drop off decorations at the wedding venue. Just a quick errand for me. He ended up behind the building when he heard Jake and his cousin Brad talking near the loading dock. He didn't mean to eavesdrop. But when he heard my name he paused. He told me Jake said this. Once the store's in Mary's name, we'll start making some changes. Knock down the back wall, open a wine bar. Get investors. Her mom kept it small, but there's big money in that corner lot. Then Brad asked, does she know? And Jake laughed. She doesn't need to. Not until after the wedding. Once she's my wife, she'll go along with it. Noah's voice broke as he finished repeating it. He thinks you're going to let him take the store, Mary. Dad's store. My heart sank. It wasn't just about money anymore. It was about legacy. My dad built that shop from nothing. Every nail in the wall. Every old photograph still hanging near the counter. That store was him. And Jake wanted to rip it apart? Use our marriage as his business plan? No, absolutely not. That night I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and felt fire in my chest. This wasn't a love story. This was a takeover. They wanted my name, my heart, and now, my family's past. So I made a promise, to myself, to my parents, and to my little brother. They will not win. The next morning I called Aunt Denise. Bring the new prenup to the wedding, I said. Print it clean. Witness lines and all. You ready? She asked. I stared out the window. Jake was across the street picking up coffee. Smiling. Pretending. I'm past ready, I said. Then I called Lexi. Keep the girls close during the ceremony, I told her. If anything goes sideways, record it. She paused. Is it going to get messy? I smiled. This wedding is not going to end the way they think. The rehearsal dinner was in a warm, softly lit hall near the church. Families and friends sat at round tables, chatting and laughing. Everyone wore their best clothes. Jake's parents looked as proud and calm as ever, but I saw something else behind their smiles. Calculation. Jake sat beside me trying to look relaxed, but I could feel the tension pulsing from him. I wondered if he knew what I was about to do. I smiled to myself, trying to appear as if everything was normal. Everyone thought this night was about celebration. But for me it was about truth. After the food was served and the speeches began, I quietly waited for my moment. The best man gave a funny story about Jake and me and people laughed. The room was full of warmth and joy, the kind you expect before a wedding. But deep inside I felt a cold fire burning. I wanted to say something. Something no one expected. When the microphone was finally handed to me, my heart was pounding hard. I stood slowly, feeling every eye in the room turn to me. Thank you all for coming, I started, my voice calm but firm. This is a special night for Jake and me, the start of our new life. I paused, letting the words hang in the air. Jake's mother smiled politely, but I saw a flicker of worry in her eyes. I want to share something important before tomorrow. Something you all should hear. I reached into my purse and pulled out my phone. People leaned in, curious. I've been keeping these recordings, I said quietly, because sometimes what's hidden behind smiles matters more than what's said in front of you. I pressed play. The room filled with voices, Jake's cold and planned. Just get her to sign it. Once she's in, it's done, he said on one clip. Another voice, his mother's, whispered, make sure she doesn't read the fine print. Gasps filled the room. Jake's father looked shocked, his lips pressed tight. I kept playing. Next, the recording of Jake talking to his cousin about the family store came on. We'll change everything once the store is in Mary's name, Jake said, his voice casual but full of greed. Open a wine bar, bring investors. She won't know until it's too late. Whispers rose. Some guests covered their mouths. Jake's smile vanished. His eyes locked on me, wide and pleading. When the audio stopped, silence swallowed the room. All eyes were on Jake. He stood abruptly. Mary, please, he said, voice shaking. Let me explain. I met his gaze, steady and strong. Explain. I asked. You planned to deceive me, steal from my family, and lie straight to my face. He looked down, ashamed. My parents threatened to cut me off, he said quietly. I was trying to protect you. Protect us. I shook my head. Lying is not protection. It's betrayal. The room was still. People stared, waiting for what I'd do next. I lowered the phone, looked around. This wedding is about trust, I said. And I'm not sure I can trust Jake anymore. Jake's mother gasped. His father's jaw clenched. Lexi, my bridesmaid, gave me a small nod of support. The church was filled with flowers, soft music, and the quiet hum of guests settling into their seats. Today was supposed to be my happiest day, my wedding day. But inside my heart was heavy. The night before at the rehearsal dinner had changed everything. I wasn't sure if I could trust Jake anymore. I saw the pain in his eyes when I played the recordings. I saw the guilt in the way he looked at me after the truth came out. Now, as I stood behind the heavy wooden doors of the church, waiting to walk down the aisle, my mind raced with all the possibilities. Would I say I do and forgive? Would I walk away and start fresh? Or would I do something completely unexpected? The doors opened. My father, proud but nervous, offered his arm. I took it, stepping forward with slow, steady steps. All eyes turned toward me. Jake stood at the altar, his hands trembling. The soft melody of the wedding song played. When I reached the front, I took a deep breath and faced Jake. His eyes searched mine. "Mary," he whispered, "please." He stepped closer and took my hands. I was scared. Scared to stand up to his parents. Scared to lose his family. Scared to lose me. "I should have told you the truth. I'm sorry." The room was silent. The tension thick. I closed my eyes for a moment. I thought about everything. The betrayal, the love, the future I dreamed of, and the future I feared. I opened my eyes and spoke clearly so everyone could hear. Option 1. Walking away. I can't marry someone who hides things from me. Tears filled my eyes, but I held my head high. This isn't just about the store or the prenup. It's about trust. And once that's broken, it's hard to fix. I gently pulled my hands free. Turning away, I walked down the aisle, alone. Gasps echoed through the church. Some guests whispered, others stared in shock. But I felt free. Option 2. Forgiveness with boundaries. "I forgive you, Jake," I said, squeezing his hands. "But this ends here. No more secrets. No more lies." He nodded, tears shining. "But your family?" I paused. "They don't get to control my life." I turned to face everyone. "This marriage is between Jake and me. And I will set my own rules." The room was quiet but filled with respect. Jake smiled, relief washing over his face. Option 3. A wedding of self-love. I surprised everyone by stepping away from Jake's hands. A small smile curved on my lips. I've realized today that the most important promise I can make is to myself. I lifted my chin and turned toward the crowd. This isn't just a wedding. It's a celebration of self-love, strength, and new beginnings. With that, I walked down the aisle, alone but proud. The guests were stunned. Some clapped slowly, others whispered. But inside, I felt a peace I never had before. Now I want to hear from you. Which ending do you choose for Mary? Should she walk away and start fresh? Should she forgive Jake but cut off his family? Or should she turn the wedding into a self-love celebration and walk alone? Comment below your choice and why. Let's see which ending wins. Because every love story is different and every choice is powerful. If this story resonates with, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.